Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our special coverage on the COVID-19 virus outbreak, and especially looking at how it affects the city of Chongqing. In previous episodes, we've been looking at the medical personnel working on the front lines, people giving donations and sending supplies, and in today's episode, we're going to look at the people who are not directly related to the medical industries, people who are not themselves in the medical field, but are still playing a vital role in combating the virus. As students have prepared to go back to school with the unusual circumstance of having to take most of their classes online, a teacher in a school in a place called Qijiang decided that you couldn't start the new term or the new semester without having a proper opening ceremony. So what she did was she went to the empty sports field of the school and delivered a speech to a totally empty place while one of the vice teachers or vice principals at the school recorded her giving this speech all by herself. And the ceremony then ended with her raising the national flag, just like they would have normally done for starting the semester at school. She said it was just like a small idea that she had at the time. She wasn't expecting this small idea of hers to blow up and get so much media attention. But many students and parents were very touched by this gesture, by this one teacher who decided to start school off in the most sort of normal way possible. The teacher also said that she hopes that many of these students will then, being sort of forced or being required to take their classes online sitting at home, that the students will now take more responsibility for their own learning, making the best of the situation, learning as much as they can, even though they have to sit at home by themselves. In Beibei district, which is one of the central districts of Chongqing in the northern part, a young couple were planning to announce their engagement around the time that the coronavirus broke out. And so instead of them doing their engagement announcement the way that they planned to, 20-year-old Yang Qixing and his now fiancée Zheng Huiwen decided to heed the call for people to come and fight the virus instead. And so he now works in a local police station and is in charge of roadblocks and checking people coming in and out, while she is a village official. And so her job is to travel to many of the communities and places to sort of spread awareness of the virus. So instead of doing their engagement the way that they planned to, they've now spent most of their time instead helping to combat this virus. So a little bit of a different sort of engagement for these guys. What we're also seeing, considering that traveling by train is perhaps the most popular and convenient way for most Chinese people to travel, especially if they're going long distances. There are buses available, they can take planes of course, but trains I still think one of the most popular ways of transport. And so because this is a place that many people sort of come through, many people take the trains and go through the train stations and the trains themselves, a lot of effort has been put into sanitizing the trains as much as possible and as frequently as possible. And so you have many of these train workers who are walking through each carriage of the train, seat by seat, carriage by carriage, spraying disinfectant after trips to try and keep these trains clean. One of the people who has been tasked with this is Liang Nini, which is the youngest member of the team doing this, and she weighs only 45 kilograms, but has to carry more than 20 kilograms of disinfectant on her back and walk with this to spray all the carriages. And there's been photos and videos of her going around struggling to carrying this load. And she struggles a little bit at first, but has eventually found a way to carry herself and to carry all this disinfectant with her. It just shows, again, the determination by these people to really try and do their bit in helping to contain the spread of the virus. But among all these people who've been working to help to contain this, we also want to look at just the public. The vast majority of the public are now staying at home, of course, as they've been told to by the government, staying home to sort of wait out this crisis. There are still people who are allowed to go outside. You can still leave your apartment once every 3 days or so to go grocery shopping. If you have a job that requires you to leave your complex and actually go to the office or a factory, you can get a permission slip from your employer that lets you leave your community every day if you have to. So the people who do need to go out, they absolutely can. But as much as possible, the government is still trying to keep people from leaving unless they have a good reason to do so. So this means that regular people are actually playing a role just as important as the people who are actively fighting the disease by staying inside, by limiting your exposure to others, by not getting too close to other people when you can, keeping distance, wearing a mask, wearing your protective gear. The public is actually doing perhaps individually the smallest work, but together the public is actually perhaps doing the most preventive work of everyone. So trying to combat this virus, the best thing we can do is to follow the advice that we get, which is to stay at home and avoid exposure. Only go outside when you absolutely need to. When you do go outside, make sure you wear the correct protection and make sure that you are keeping your distance to other people. So as you can see, it's not only the people working directly in the medical field, in the police, or any other official capacity. Sometimes the greatest actions can come from the smaller actions done by people all around us. This is truly everyone's fight, and everyone has their own role to play. There's still plenty for us to report on, so until next time, stay healthy, stay safe.